During the House Judiciary Committee hearing on Donald Trump's impeachment, a number of constitutional experts shared their perspective, and one of them was Pamela Karlan. Now, Pamela Karlan was one of the three constitutional experts who believes that the impeachment process did yield evidence that supports impeachment. She believes that this process has shown that Donald Trump did in fact commit the things that he's been accused of, including trying to dig up dirt on his political rival and soliciting the help of a foreign leader in an effort to do that. Now, an interesting exchange did occur between Karlan and Doug Collins. Now, Doug Collins is a Republican representative who was salty from the very beginning of this hearing. He complained about his chair being uncomfortable. And then he said this.
America will see why most people don't go to law school. No offense to our professors, but please, really, we're bringing you in here today to testify on stuff that most of you have already written about, all four, for the opinions that we already know, out of the classrooms that maybe you're getting ready for finals in, to discuss things that you probably haven't even had a chance to, unless you're really good on TV of watching the hearings for the last couple of weeks, you couldn't have possibly actually digested the Adam Schiff report from yesterday or the Republican response in any real way. Now, we can be theoretical all we want, but the American people is really going to look at this and say, huh?
So Karlan didn't take kindly to that statement and hit him back with this.
That everything I know about our Constitution and its values and my review of the evidentiary record, and here, Mr. Collins, I would like to say to you, sir, that I read transcripts of every one of the witnesses who appeared in the live hearing because I would not speak about these things without reviewing the facts. So I'm insulted by the suggestion that as a law professor, I don't care about those facts. But everything I read on those occasions tells me that when President Trump invited, indeed demanded foreign involvement in our upcoming election, he struck at the very heart of what makes this a republic to which we pledge allegiance.
To which Collins responded,
huh?
I'm kidding, he didn't respond that way, but wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, that's a Stanford law professor, and this Doug Collins guy coming in like, oh yeah, now I know what I'm doing here. Hey, you law professors, what do you know? They know the law. And they're really good at it. And you don't get to be a Stanford law professor without working your ass off.
Yes.
And being really, really accomplished. Unlike random local yokel Republican congressman who got there by taking corrupt campaign contributions.
No, but Cenk, but think about it. This is another case of projection, right? Because in Collins's mind, like there's no way that they have like the brain power to read the House Intelligence Committee's report before coming to testify during the House Judiciary Committee's hearing. But maybe that's, the limitations of Collins's brain power, but these are constitutional experts, these are law professors, and she made it very clear that she did her homework before showing up to testify.
Yeah, no, I love that strength. So now the Republicans wanted to strike back. So they found something that Karlan said in the testimony and are all pretending to be outraged by it. So Karlan said, I'll give you one example that shows the difference between him and a king, referring to Donald Trump, which is the Constitution says there will be no titles of nobility. So while the president can name his son baron, he can't make him a baron. Okay, so you see what part of that is offensive? Oh, you don't see it either? No rational person sees what's wrong with that statement because she's not talking about Baron Trump. She didn't make any comment about Baron Trump. She made a comment about Donald Trump saying that he's not nobility and he can't pass that nobility down to his son. She did not in any way insult or talk about Baron Trump or any characteristic that he has. But the Republicans are like, yes, she mentioned his kid. And it's the kids are totally out of bounds because it's not like he put his kids into the White House and put them in charge of almost all policy. Anyway, but Barron is a minor, and if Professor Karlan actually talked about like her issues with Baron Trump, that would be super weird and inappropriate. But she didn't. I just read you the quote. Okay, so what do? They're like, oh my God, I've got the vapors. I can't believe she's talking about the children. What about the children? So Melania gets in on the act and she tweets out, A minor child deserves privacy and should be kept out of politics. Pamela Karlan, you should be ashamed of your very angry and obviously biased public pandering and using a child to do it. She didn't say anything about Barron Trump. She just said you can't be a baron. It was a wordplay having nothing to do with the kid. Okay, but the fall outrage. Why? Bucket of squirrels. So they're like, he's absolutely guilty, Donald Trump is. And we've got no legal grounds to stand on. The one professor in the country who can find, Jonathan Turley, made a wildly contradictory and terrible argument about, well, ideally I'd like for these proceedings to take 2 years. So Karlan and the other professors hammered him on the actual law. So they're like, squirrel, they insulted a kid. Well, did they? No, but it doesn't matter. Get a bucket of squirrels. Oh, Barron Trump, what has happened? Okay, no, if she actually went after the kid for no reason at all, we would criticize her. And we have done that in the past when progressives have done it, okay?
Not progressives, people on the left.
So to be fair, yes, it was people on the left, but not necessarily progressives. But we were happy to criticize them for that because you should keep them out of any kind of politics. You should keep the kids out of politics, we all agree. But it was not about Barron. It was a wordplay on nobility, and every honest person knows that. By the way, here we go again, and Professor Karlan has already apologized for it.
Yeah, she shouldn't apologize, but we also shouldn't get distracted by the bucket of squirrels, and we won't, because Karlan's testimony and her expertise is incredibly important to this case, and I want to share just one more piece of that with you, so let's take a look.
What happened in 2016 was bad enough. There is widespread agreement that Russian operatives intervened to manipulate our political process. But that distortion is magnified if a sitting president abuses the powers of his office actually to invite foreign intervention. To see why, imagine living in a part of Louisiana or Texas that's prone to devastating hurricanes and flooding. What would you think if you lived there and your governor asked for a meeting with the president to discuss getting disaster aid that Congress has provided for? What would you think if that president said, I would like you to do us a favor. I'll meet with you and I'll send the disaster relief once you brand my opponent a criminal? Wouldn't you know in your gut that such a president had abused his office, that he betrayed the national interest, and that he was trying to corrupt the electoral process?
So this is why they're trying to defame her as some sort of like terrible person who's going after kids, right? It's because her testimony here was incredibly powerful. She was strong, she didn't back down. And in the case of Barron Trump, she also shouldn't have backed down, but it's okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, look guys, don't get distracted by nonsense peripheral issues. The core of the issue is a legal one. That is why we have legal scholars today in the Judiciary Committee. And what 3 out of 4 of them said, and again, the Republican one was incredibly weak, and the overwhelming number of constitutional, and even the 3-1 is misleading, because the overwhelming majority of constitutional law professors believe that this is clearly an impeachable offense. But the Republicans get to pick witnesses, so they were like, all right, we'll pick one. That guy doesn't really agree with us, but says we're doing it too quick, we'll go with him, right? So don't get misled by that. The law is overwhelming here, and it is very clear. Of course you can't ask a foreign government for help in your political election. That's the core of the issue, and that's why Donald Trump will definitely be impeached and should be convicted if there was any ethics at all, and obviously in the Senate there isn't. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.